Here we are. Welcome to the UTB Blogcast number 24. I think we're 24. We got me, Brad. We've got Dave, Chap, and Bartron.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
So we're seeing a service disappear this week. We've had a lot of reaction to it. BBM meetings is kind of going away.
Oh, I thought you were talking about RDIO or RDIO.
Radio?
I'm just kidding, man. I know what you were talking about. RDO went bye-bye too. Anyway, let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Video.
I don't think I even know what RDO is, to be honest.
That's why they're going away.
Okay.
No, they went bankrupt or some damn thing, and Pandora bought them up to, suck up the things that their intellectual property, I guess. Anyway, shut up, Dave.
BBM meetings.
So BBM meetings. You know what I'm gonna miss is seeing all those accidental meeting invitations in BBM.
Not me.
I know. Let's by mistake push this little icon because I can.
It's like, how many times a day can Robert do that? Click, click, click.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, that's really the only difference we're going to see. We knew all along that BBM meetings was Zoom. It just was Blackberry branded.
Yeah, I think it's just a skin. It was Blackberry's skin on it, and of course heavily integrated into BBM, of course, which Robert knows very well. And the service is the same, the transport is the same. Now you just need a separate app, but it's the same thing. There's for people who don't know, a native BlackBerry 10 app for Zoom, and of course it's on other platforms as well, including iOS and Android. I haven't really checked for a Windows Phone. Did anybody else?
No. I always forget about Windows Phone.
But having said that, there are applications for Windows PC and Mac. I'm pretty sure Mac as well. So it does cover the platforms. Whether Windows 10 will be in on that, I don't know. So Windows is part of it, but whether it's Windows for mobile or not, who knows?
Yeah, like anything else, I guess if it takes off, they'll adopt it. I've tried it on the PC. I've tried it on my Passport, and I've tried it on my Priv. And Priv to Passport, the video looked a little bit choppy, but anything to PC, everything looked very smooth. So I'm not sure. Well, my Priv to Passport test was at the office. Don't tell anybody I wasn't working. Oh, wait, I just did. Damn it, Jim. Those people that watch us know I was working. Anyway, and so that was on our own Wi-Fi and our own internet, and the upload on our own internet is questionable. But at home, when I got home, I have very fast internet at home, and like everything worked very quickly, just as you'd expect. Or it was the same thing, natural BBM meetings. Anybody else have any experience?
I tried it out before. I think when we first found out about meetings and Zoom and all that fun stuff, I tried it out back then. I don't know. I didn't see any issues with it, but I never really used BBM meetings either.
I have used BBM meetings once or twice. I think part of the issues that some people were having was the BB10 integration stuff. difference between BBM meetings and Zoom. The skin of BBM meetings integrated better with Hub, integrated better with BBM. I think a lot of people using BB10 in particular were worried about losing that. But personally, I think what you've got to understand is the way that BlackBerry work. This whole transition reminds me a heck of a lot about Bridge, and far be it for me to bring up Playbook. The Bridge was the precursor to Blend. Let's put it out there. The Bridge
absolutely.
interaction, the integration, that was us really beta testing for BlackBerry this concept. It was done in-house for a specific device, so BB device connecting to Playbook, and what they did was they took that concept and they've made it cross-platform. So they've taken the BlackBerry skin off it, they've taken the BlackBerry exclusiveness of it, and what I see with this is BBM meetings has been the same thing. It's had a bit of a shorter testing time, but what they've now done is they've taken the BB skin off the Zoom service, and now it's starting to go cross-platform, and you can use it on any device, and any device can communicate. What BlackBerry does with that will be very interesting to see. Whether they talk to Zoom and work with Zoom to take it up a notch for the full cross-platform experience, it will be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to what might come of the experiment, and what we might be looking forward to in the future.
I mean, Zoom was around before BBM meetings. It was a service, and it's been around this whole time. It was just kind of the engine to BBM meetings, as far as my understanding goes.
I just wonder what we might be looking forward to now with native Zoom in terms of interacting with BBM or interacting with the BlackBerry 10 interface. I could be wrong. We might not be getting anything. But for them to take Zoom, put a BlackBerry skin on it, utilize that for what was it, a year, thereabouts, and then remove that skin and go back to saying, well, use Zoom, it strikes me as odd that BlackBerry hasn't taken something out of that experiment, that they haven't taken something out of that experience, that they're not utilizing what they've learned to make a better experience for BlackBerry users. They've done it in the past, and one thing we've seen is BlackBerry seem to be very consistent with the way that they operate. So I'm wondering what might be down the track that people, even at the upper echelons of BlackBerry, may be waiting to hear from the top as well about what has come of that. Yeah, I'm calling a wait and see. I'm actually excited for what might happen.
Well,
I just see it as, I mean, I didn't see any real extreme growth out of it. I mean, it was basically Zoom meetings integrated in with BBM, and it was, you know, obviously it was licensed from Zoom, and the cost reflected that. BBM meetings was a little bit pricier than Zoom, and I could totally see it as a case where BlackBerry's looking at it and going, this isn't any value add for our customers. You know, it's like,
yeah,
we haven't really done anything more with this than integrate it with BBM, and it's costing our customers more. You know, let's shuffle this away and work on our next thing.
And
I could be wrong.
I was just reminded of, sorry Brad, something I was just reminded of as well, the integration with the BlackBerry Calendar, which was quite important. I think more enterprise users got a lot out of that particular integration. So whether that's come up with something either. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
You killed it. You killed the room, chap.
Yeah,
carry on. Isn't that what vultures want? Well, integration, I don't know. Goofing around with Zoom on the Passport, when you want to invite somebody, one of the choices for invitation is via BBM. So there's that. I just started one on the Priv here, and the invite choices don't include BBM. So, thanks. What they do include is Hangouts, Messenger, which is SMS, Blackberry Hub, which of course would include any email or anything else you got in the hub, Gmail, and any invite Zoom contacts that you have in the database for your Zoom app, or you can just copy the URL and send it via what? Twitter.
Well,
so
try,
you can
try
have
doing it through the hub, Dave. Try doing it through the hub and choosing BBM.
Okay, I'm going to push this button. You want me to push this button?
Yeah, push that
Push the
button.
button.
It goes. No, it just immediately pulls up my Gmail email address and then asks me where I want to send it. So really, it's just an email thing when it says the hub. Boom.
Alrighty then.
Zoom.
Now you got me. Now you got me heading to the Google Play Store.
Yeah. In any case, it does work, and the quality is really good, actually, for the testing that I've done between my devices and my PC. If you have decent internet, it's good. I've yet to try it with, real human beings, somewhat like are on this show.
Say what?
You mean the three who are watching?
The three people that are watching, apart from us. But
Okay, so
well, I was shocked at the reaction that we got from various
that's
places
where I
on
was
the Zoom
going.
meeting, or I mean on the BBM meetings.
Yeah, that's where I was going next too. Is and mostly it was on the share, the financial type of articles that I keep one eye on, and there's so many negative Nazis there that are just dumping on the thing, and I don't get it. One of my reactions to an extremely negative comment on an article, I mean, BlackBerry can't do anything right. Look at them, they're dumping this, and they can't do this right, and they don't do anything right. I'm going, well, I never hear you dumping on Apple for killing Beats music. I never hear you dumping on Pandora for absorbing RDIO and killing that. And I don't hear you dumping on Google for buying Songza and killing that not 3 days ago. I don't see any of that. This is all just dumping on BlackBerry for something to do because that's like the trend or whatever. When it's just business. It's just business. You do something, you try it out. It's not your cup of tea, or you have these alternatives, so you make the alternatives available, and then people want to crap on you for it. It's baloney. Don't like it.
How about you, Ian? Any thoughts?
Well, I didn't get a chance to use BBM meetings. So for me, really, it makes no difference other than that. Hopefully, I'm not going to see any of those invites. Got duped once, and that's enough.
Did you jump into one that there was no
jumped
meeting?
into one. Hey, what's going on? And I realized called a meeting. So for me, I don't. Dave hit the nail on the head. No one rags on Apple for scrapping their ping and iTunes ping. When it came out, everyone said, "Oh, it's going to be the MySpace killer," and nothing happened from it. And there's so many examples of these companies that start a service and scrap it later on. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people are just, whatever, they get problems in their lives and they're just looking to use BlackBerry as a skateboard, just bitch at everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And let's face it, the meetings thing, it was very heavily, corporately, was bent on a corporate thing. And that's why a lot of us found it difficult to sign up, because you needed a corporate ID to get the original trial, which I did and found difficult to get it. But anyway, that obviously lends itself to being more of a BES-oriented offering. And in BES, you can just take the Zoom app, dump it into everybody's profile for Android, iOS, BlackBerry 10, and you're good to go. It's the same service with its original skin on it instead of BlackBerry's skin on it.
Yeah.
You're not losing anything. It costs the same or less, and people should really shut up and move on.
On that post, I was gonna when I wrote my comment, I started off as, I guess this means, or no, this clearly means that BlackBerry is getting out of the handset business and they're going to go bankrupt. Obviously.
Because of meetings?
Yeah,
Where have I heard that before?
Exactly.
For the last 3 years, maybe?
Obviously a sarcastic slap at the, what do you call them, the Chicken Littles. And anything negative happening with BlackBerry, getting out of the handset business, they're going bankrupt. I better hurry up and switch to Android soon.
Yeah, but don't pick the BlackBerry Android, because that would be, logical.
Yeah. We're going with the Android that's worse.
Yeah, let's do that. Because, I like to cut my nose off to spite my face.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then they accuse you of being irrational and read between the lines, Dave. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Read between the lines of Coke.
Jeez.
Sorry, did we get off subject here?
Just a little. Hey, since we're talking about the Priv again, have you noticed that there's like 2 types of users now, 2 types of BlackBerry users? There's the early adopters, the ones that are cutting edge and on the Priv, versus the purists who won't even look at the Android BlackBerry. And it's we're all BlackBerry fans, but it seems like it just struck me today. It's 2 entirely different groups of people now within our little community. I'm not talking about the outsiders that are coming in, the new Android Priv users, but just the ones that have been here before. Even within our own group, we've got people that are on the Priv and loving it. We've got people that wouldn't even consider touching it. Then we have a couple of us that have it and are kind of wondering why we have it.
Yeah. Well, it's true, and I think we all probably saw the possibilities of this divisive situation, which is reality today. I think we all probably saw that coming. But it's interesting to see. It's just interesting to see it happen anyway. And I love and respect, everybody in the community. And it's just that's kind of why I wrote the article for running your Priv without Google. That's kind of why I wrote it, because it is possible to avoid the horrible beast, and I've avoided the horrible beast for years and years once I understood the consequences. And I think you all know that. But it was my goal to see if I could get this phone operating the way I want it to without subscribing to any Google services at all. And I think I'm fairly successful at that, except, of course, for our experience here right now, which is on Google Hangouts, and my horrifying consistent use of YouTube. Anything else they offer, I don't subscribe to and haven't used, period. Google Now, I don't talk to my phone. Hey, Google Now, it won't even wake up because I don't use it. Maps, nothing. I don't use anything. Nothing they offer. It makes you wonder why I got this thing, and I'd include myself in that, but whatever.
I just got a tweet from Ivan that says he's commenting on us. 2 groups of BlackBerry users. One group is simply scared of Android. Give them time. Others simply dive in. I'm not so sure I agree with that, Ivan, because I wasn't scared. I've got it, but this is my go-to. You know.
Hey man, I wasn't scared first.
Yeah, you weren't scared first, but I mean, you guys know we'll be chatting in group, and you know my Priv ID says Priv on it, and I'm trying, I'm trying to use it as my primary, but if something's necessary and I need to get in there and I need to do it, all of a sudden you'll see Brad without the Priv pop up, and he'll tend to stick around a lot longer day after day. I'm sorry, the Priv is a great device. It's a sexy phone. It's seriously, I think I said this last time, or I may have said it in a post, that when I'm walking around, this is in my hand. I want people to see it. I want people to see that this is a BlackBerry, and I want them to ask me about it. But the one thing that the Priv has done has made me fall in love all over again with my Passport. I didn't even get my sentence out, huh?
Tell me about your Priv.
What about
I saw
Priv?
you put it out there. I just want you to tell me about it.
But no,
okay. Finish what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, the Passport to me now today is the best phone that was ever made, and that's while I'm still holding the Priv in my hand.
Well, I've done a month. And I'm not going to argue with you. After that article I just told you about, running without Google, that's what I said at the end. It is without question in my mind, after having my mitts all over 3 operating systems for a long time, and admittedly Android for a month, BlackBerry 10 is head and shoulders the best operating system, mobile operating system on the planet, bar none. It just is. It's smooth, it's intuitive, it lets you get things done, it has a built-in extremely deep file manager, peak, flow, multitasking, ridiculous. Sorry everybody else, BlackBerry 10 is the best operating system. Sorry.
Yeah, the idea that the claim, people are afraid of Google, total bullshit. And some people look at it, have tried it, like me, and say it sucks. The UI is once you use BB10, you go to Google, the Android, and just the UI is just chaos. It doesn't make any sense. It's designed for appearance. It looks good, but it's like they never gave any thought to the functionality, or they're doing it different for the sake of being different. And I mean, it's really that. And then you add the other issues of all the security problems, the privacy issues. I mean, it has nothing to do with fear. It's just the rational thought that it doesn't suit my needs. It does a bunch of crap that I don't want it to do, and it doesn't do a bunch of stuff that I do want it to do. Saying people are afraid of it is bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I'm not afraid of Android as an operating system anymore. I look forward to Android 6 because I refuse to call it what its frickin' candy name is. But I look forward to that on the Priv because we'll have granular access to app permissions. And I'm expecting DTEC to get its mitts in there, and we'll have a nice, convenient place to just nuke all the junk we don't want our apps doing. So I've spent the last 3 weeks acquiring installing and using apps that are that have the minimalist of app permissions, and I've been successful at that. And if you looked at my DTech, I could show you all of my apps and show you how much I'm not being spied on and abused, because I don't use any of the Google apps, and all of the replacements that I found are extremely minimalist. It'll be a lot more interesting to see once we have Android 6, though. Maybe there will be more to look at, I'm sure. And it's also interesting that DTech doesn't look at the Google apps themselves, and it's also interesting that DTech doesn't look at the Blackberry apps either.
Well, I haven't done what you've done, Dave. The apps that I installed, I just installed them. I'm fine. These are the apps I use on my Passport, and these are the apps I'm installing on my Priv.
Like what?
Like not Facebook, like not Instagram, like not Periscope, and I'm in the green. I haven't had to go in and change anything, and I'm completely in the green on my DTech. I'm totally safe. The only thing that has really done any snooping has been Twitter getting my location. Kind of weird. I don't know why they need. I'm sure you can, but I'm still in the green. But Ivan's had another question for us. I'm kind of liking this, where people tweet. Hey, you know what? If you want to tweet us, tweet at UTB Blogs, and you can say whatever you want. And if you want to curse us out or tell us to shut up, that'll work too. But he wants to know.
Telling us to shut up won't work.
Yeah, that's true.
At least not with me, anyway.
But he wants to know, what can one do on a Passport that you can't do on the Priv? And keep in mind, Ivan's got both too.
Oh, what can you do on a Passport that you cannot do on a Priv? You cannot open up your music app and choose FM radio.
Well, that's a little weird. I've never done. I know you can do that. I've never done that because
well,
I never
it was the first thing in my.
Well, there's all the
it's
stuff
a technical impossibility.
Well, there's all the stuff with the hub on BB10 hub versus the Android version.
See, that's big for me, and for me, honestly, it's my workflow. And maybe it's because I've come up through BBOS to where now BB10 is a continuation of that workflow that I'm used to, that I'm quick at, and Android is just a scattered mess to me. It's like I have to work to get things done, whereas on BB10, it's quick and smooth. And I'm sorry, I mean, honestly, with me, I think BBOS would be much faster and smoother for me than current Android.
You cannot be writing an email and want to do something else and come back and be right back to that email that you were writing, because now it is a draft and you have to go get it again.
Oh yeah.
You cannot go deep into your file manager and share something. You cannot go into an email and find a long list of attachments that are habitual in your life. What else? You cannot have stereo speakers on your machine. You cannot have Bluetooth aptX.
That's probably coming.
So what? You can't have it today. I'm assuming that Ivan's list was a today thing?
Yeah.
Hi, Ivan. What else can you not do? I don't know. I'll have to think some more. That's hard. The thinking part.
Does it hurt? Does it hurt, Dave?
Yes, it does. It hurts me. Oh, God.
So what else we got going on? We went over meetings.
Where's my frickin' Passport? Damn it.
Talked about Priv people. We've got the earnings report coming up. Any guesses as to what we should be seeing there?
Wow. I'm going to make a guess. And the guess is going to be that it's not going to be dissimilar from last earnings report. And the reason I'm going to say that is because there will be 0 priv sales in it. And what else? I don't expect any other hardware or handset sales to be of a large influence. I'd love to expect that they would have increased sales in ad hoc and now I'm forgetting the other purchase that they made recently.
Good technology. Good.
Yeah, in good. I'm not. That'd be interesting. I wonder, and not to derail what the question was, but I wonder what good technology sales have been like since they got acquired.
Well, I'd say it's not so much about the sales. Wouldn't it be about the ongoing revenue of current subscribers and users?
Sure,
Whether
and that's a fair.
The revenue at all?
Sure, that's fair.
But
That's
good
fair.
was not doing good. I mean, we need to keep that in mind. They have all these, however many apps and you know what they were good at, but as far as their business, they were not doing well.
No. But I guess it comes down to what it was BlackBerry acquired with Good. Did they acquire all of the infrastructure headaches as well? I don't know what the deal was. We only know a very small portion of what that was about. In BlackBerry acquiring Good, have they just brought the Good clientele onto their own infrastructures? I mean, we don't know that. And whether that's reduced any of that issues. So, you know, I think there are going to be a lot of surprises. Yeah. Maybe there, as you say, Dave, maybe we're just going to see a continuation of what we saw in the last one because you've got no priv sales. But I think that the ad hoc, the Good, they're probably the elephants in the room as to what may be affecting it. But there's nothing else that we've got really that could be affecting it. Were people buying up extra BlackBerry 10 devices because of the upcoming priv? We had a lot of people joking about that, didn't we? You know, priv's coming, end of BB10, let's go stock up for the end of the world, and you know,
it's Christmas for everyone. Yeah,
that's exactly right. The Kardashians set the example yet again, aren't we? Very privileged to have those people amongst us.
Yeah, indeed.
You know, I wonder if that has affected the revenue at all.
I don't know. As far as Good goes, I kind of expect that. Well, it's only me, but if I was to buy those guys, I'd be buying them and expecting to turn over X percentage of them into Bez customers, and that would be my growth aspiration in the acquisition of Good. So they had X number of thousands of customers, anywhere from Lord only knows, 20 to thousands of endpoints, and they would turn those into Bez licenses over time when the Good contracts were up. So that to me is a rolling thing that we might see over the next year or 3. I don't know what Good's contracts were like, whether they were yearly or multi-year or whatever.
And as you say, that's further down the track. That's not going to be affecting this quarter.
I don't
Very
think
little
so.
that we have that can affect this quarter. When did the proof first go on sale? Was it part of the quarter?
It was November 6th, I think. It's like 3 weeks.
November 6th was the day I walked in the store. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the we're on different financial calendars here in Australia. So what's the quarter for North America?
End of November.
What's the business quarter? End of November. Okay, so you've got 3 weeks. 3 weeks of initial proof sales. It's not going to make too much of a difference. Maybe we'll see the immediate swell. We'll at least get stats on the opening week of sales. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I think will give a good indication for investors, for people looking at BlackBerry.
I was about to say the same thing. You're going to get the first opening weekend or the first 2 weeks, but that's about it.
Yeah. So at
are you really expecting a lot out of that first week?
No.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. And again, being in a country that still doesn't have the priv, I'm talking to you, Optus.
Optus zealously or something.
Oh boy, I gotta admit, it's been frustrating. We've seen so many Asian countries suddenly having these releases, and for us down here, the elephant in the room has been that there is no priv coming to Australia as we speak, and it's frustrating. So, you know, I just sit here, I be silly, and I do what I need to do, but we will get there. We'll get there. Yeah,
so
I don't expect to see much.
What the hell?
Hey, Wayno.
Hey, Wayno. Dude. Come on, man. Think outside the headset.
Last week I projected before Christmas. I still say before Christmas. I'm still at that point. But yeah, I actually think we might see some surprisingly pleasing numbers with the priv, even in the first week of sales. Not, you know, the numbers that people would start to say, it's all changed, everything's turned around, overnight success. But I think we're going to see something encouraging. Not something dramatic, but something encouraging.
I think John Chen could start shitting gold, and the media still wouldn't say that they've turned around.
Yeah, basically.
Good point.
I've often said that there's a bunch of people on this planet where you could, you know, roll up in a big, huge truck with $1 million worth of pennies, $1 million worth of pennies, and they'd hate you because it was pennies. But it's $1 million, and they don't. You know what I mean?
And that's why I will never make a bet with Dave.
BlackBerry announced they sold 25 million priv.
He's gonna get paid.
Median analysts would say, well, you know, they should have been able to sell 30, and then they sold the stock. And no matter what they say, they're so, as one and was a stockbroker or whatever said, he says his clients are so heavily invested in Apple that he keeps bad news away from them. And that's, you know, that's the problem. And so no matter what, I mean, we just have to look at this. It's not going to be a grand slam. One phone is not going to make BlackBerry, you know, second or first. We have to view this as steps. This is finally a step forward.
No, you're right.
And everything's are going to be better than last earnings report, but they're not going to be stellar. It's a step. You break your whole goal. It's a journey, right? Yeah. You know where we want to be? You break it up into small steps. This is one step.
No, you're right. Bartron, you're absolutely right. Killer analysis. This is it's a V1. It's version 1 of a step that BlackBerry has made. It's version 1.
And I think
to all you people that are having any kind of problems out there, realize that too. Software-wise, it's version 1. Relax. I think Monday I might get an update, and although I don't have any problems, I'll expect some improvements. But there's some people out there that are experiencing issues, and Monday is it for them.
And I think that we've been saying this for a while, that, you know, the media is expecting this grand slam, and it's all about increments for any business. Anybody who's in business knows this. It's all about increments. You take little steps in getting turnarounds. You take little steps in coming back to profitability. You've got a game plan and you stick to it right to the end. Everybody expecting that one quarter you're dead, the next quarter you are thriving. They're living in la la land. They don't understand business, and I think what we've seen this week in particular from all the stuff we've just talked about is that most of the people in the community who are commenting are they're commenting as if they were consumers, as if BlackBerry was a brand that had to punt to the consumers, rather than this business that needs to have a game plan, that needs to survive, that needs to look at the long distance and not just come in and please the fans and please the people who are hanging around. There's a game plan, and we're seeing it come into motion. We won't see a grand sweep come the earnings call, but I think we'll see another step towards what we know is going to come.
So Chap says incremental improvements and incremental growth. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep, absolutely.
No, I can subscribe to that. What about you, Brad?
I'm not holding my breath for this time. I'm just looking back over the last quarter, I guess. I haven't really seen anything that would jump out. I kind of see it as being a negative one. But BlackBerry's made these acquisitions. They've put out the money. We know that's for future business. We know that's for future growth. But I just see this as a spend quarter. I don't really see much coming back to us this time.
Yeah.
So if we come in with a worse sounding earnings call this time, I won't be surprised. But I expect, because of things that happen this quarter, next quarter should be much better.
Yeah. Preparation for the positive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's not preparation H, I'm good to go.
And even then, I dare say you've got a backup plan.
Yeah. Very nice.
Can we talk about Apple's most ridiculous decision ever?
What, they've just got
You know
one?
how much I hate Apple.
Yeah.
And we've done a pretty good job of keeping them off the podcast recently, but oh my God, all this talk about the earphone jack.
That's because I wasn't on the podcast.
Oh, I know. I know.
What, people are talking about an earphone jack?
Removing the 3.5 millimeter standard earphone jack in order to make the iPhone supposedly 1 millimeter, that's one,
thinner millimeter,
and also to allow you the opportunity to have a proprietary headset, which would be plugged into the Lightning port. And if you really want to have your standard headset, then you would have to, of course, buy an Apple adapter.
Which they'll sell you for $30.
They've been talking about this for a while. We know that Apple has a patent for a slim headphone jack, and I mean, you look at it, they basically just shaved off the edges so they could make it slimmer. Now they're talking about doing away with the headphone jack altogether and using the Lightning port or just using Bluetooth, which, I mean, they want to make their phones slimmer. I don't like slim phones. I don't like it. And then just give them a battery, because now you're going to plug, and the one thing that you can plug your phone into, you're going to put your earphones into. They're going to listen to about half an hour of music, and then they're going to be SOL.
How are they going to listen to their music while charging?
They can't. They can't. This is a
Yes, you
conversation I
can with
had
an adapter.
This is a conversation I had with an iFriend today, and I'm telling him this, and he's like, "Oh, there they go, innovation." And it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
the only innovation here is they discovered another way to bend you over. Is exactly what I told my friend, and they just don't get it.
Here's the thing. Go ahead.
I'm getting frustrated, so that means I need to put myself on mute for a minute and take a few breaths.
Yeah, hopefully.
So we're going to see your lips moving and hear nothing. Excellent.
Well, as far as I know, what comes out of the Lightning connector is digital, which means whatever adapter you have has to basically be a DAC, digital to analog converter.
Right.
They're not small when you look at basically the size of a USB flash drive. I have one, the Dragonfly by AudioQuest. Great DAC, but it's about the size of a USB flash drive. Now, the only advantage of it, the main advantage of it, is that let's say you can replace the DAC. If another one comes out that's better, you end up getting better sound without replacing your whole device. Now, obviously, Apple in their headphones are going to build them in, the Beat headphones that they make. But that adapter is going to be huge compared to the phone. It's not just like what they do when they went to the 30-pin to Lightning. That's a little different. It's basically electrical connections. An adapter can be relatively small, but no, this is going to be big. And in fact, now that I think about it, you'd be lucky if it's only $30, which is their standard.
Oh, hell's no! Yeah.
Right, so they'll charge you a fortune with that. Yeah, it's not just a question of having like one socket type and a different socket type as an adapter. It's not a mismatch in socket type. There's actual circuitry that has to be in there.
Yeah.
And they're going to
absolutely. And I think Brad, you've said on numerous occasions that you really hate thin. So it's obvious that you really like thick, and you can find that in BBW. Which is Blackberry World. That's junk.
No, when I got my...
You're making me try and stay politically correct. I don't, my phones and my women are two entirely different things. So let me just say
Whatever.
When I got my Z10, I'm playing with it, and everyone's talking about how, Apple's making their phone even thinner, and I'm thinking, what, are they going to go now to just a sheet of glass? So I said, let's see what that's like. So I peeled the back off my Z10, and I pretended that was a phone. It's like in my pocket, and that, in terms of weight, sure, there's a significant difference in weight, but in terms of experience, that difference in weight made no difference. It was not valuable.
Right.
You went from, 90-something grams to basically maybe a gram. And what I found was the thinness was like Brad has said, it's just too thin.
It is.
No, I know. I mean, this case I got is because of what Brad is saying. The folding case or folio case or whatever they call it. It put the bulk back in it, and I can fold it back, and I can use the keyboard on it way better. Just because it's got some bulk on it, there's some thickness there. I get it. It's better.
Imagine a guitar neck that's super thin.
Right.
It can be too thin. You need some bulk in there to grab it. It's part of feel.
Absolutely.
You take out the weight. You take out that. I mean, you look what constitutes feel. You're looking at weight, temperature, shape, texture. You get rid of weight. You make it super thin like Apple's going. You're getting rid of weight. Shape, there's basically no shape, really, when it's that thin. You're removing feel from it. Yeah. You're removing the elements that make a feel. You're getting rid of texture by making it smooth.
And let's face it, Bartron, they want to make it 1 millimeter thinner, and the battery already sucks.
Yeah.
It already sucks.
You know what's bad? A few years ago, it was about 2 years ago or so, I was on a Mac and Apple fan site, and they're real big iPhone fans complaining about that. Like one person said, I'm sick and tired of them trying to sacrifice battery life to make it impossibly thin. What people want is battery life. Since iPhone 1 came out, I have never heard or even heard of one person say they wish the iPhone was thinner. Never. But just about every single person has said they wish the battery would last longer.
Yeah, the only person is Johnny. I've the only opinion around here.
Yep. Stockholm syndrome is very powerful.
Yeah.
And they exploit it. Like
one of the other things,
maybe we deserve to have them take all our money. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're right, Jimmy. You do deserve it.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we've got to consider as well, I mean, the unintended consequence is the very fact that our hands are designed to grip a certain thing and provide certain pressures. When you create
That's what she said.
something that thin,
that's why size matters.
That's the closest to cursing I've heard you so far today, Dave. The slimmer they make it, the lighter they make it. The very nature of gripping something is going to change, and how we hold on to things will change. If they keep doing that, you pick up something in a very different way in the future. If you keep making this iPhone, this thing that you have to hold to use, even though for iPhone users it's connected to the wall all the time, the very nature of the way that we hold things is going to change, and that's ridiculous. Unless everything else is being made thinner, your brakes, your steering wheels, whatever it is you have to hang on to throughout the day, unless they're making those thinner, those smaller, those lighter, what's the point? What's the point? Are you just robbing? Well, actually, no, I know the point. You're just robbing people of battery life, their ability to use standardized connections, and being forced to buy into the proprietary system. That's what the point is. But really,
Yes, it is.
Stockholm syndrome.
Hey, man.
The iPhone smaller and the battery cases thicker that are licensed to Apple, or licensed through Apple, I should say. I mean, that's the thing. People are paying multiple times for a phone that's already overpriced, and Apple's getting a piece of every bit of that.
Everything. Licensing. You wanna get hooked up to my Lightning connector with your big fat, charging, case. Licensing.
Right.
You're doing that because I am going to make money off of you by not providing it in the first place. Duh.
Okay, we got to yell about Apple for a while. Anything else on the docket? Anything else anyone wants to talk about?
I'm done.
Bartron's been a little quiet.
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to switch over to my passport for the weekend.
It feels good, Dave. Hey, you know what? That's what I was going to say. You hold your passport. You have both your passport and Priv there, Dave?
Yeah.
How much thicker does your passport fill than your Priv?
Well, they're both in cases.
Take them out.
Okay.
Take it off, Dave. Take it all off.
Here's my passport, completely nude. And here is my... Come on out of there, old weird Harold. Get out of it. Oh, that's a grippy case. Here is my Priv.
You've only just discovered that? Oh, cover your eyes.
Yeah, it is.
How much thinner does that Priv fill than your passport? It's been one of my major complaints.
It feels, I'm going to say, it feels, and this is inconclusive, but it feels, I'm going to say about 20% or 25% thinner. Something
Good.
like that. And that's just the way it sort of feels, and that's not empirical
top
data.
To top. Hold them top to top and look at them from the side.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Uh-huh.
How crazy is that?
I know. It's just the
They're just about
design.
the same thickness.
It's just the design.
Yeah.
And then when you ramp up the keyboard on the Priv,
Then it's
you got
definitely thinner.
skinny ass stuff on the bottom, no doubt.
Yeah. But I know we could get on and look it up, but they're very close in size.
I ran the Passport for I don't know how many months with completely nude until I got the Still Good case for it, and I was so satisfied with that, and it feels so good. I'm just going to log into my TELUS account and hot up my Passport for the weekend and move my BBM over there too. I was doing some, well, when I was doing a couple of blog posts, I guess, I was using my Passport to move the blogs to Twitter and to our groups and whatnot, and I'm going, you know what? I missed this thing. I've done a month, and I said I was going to do it, and so I've done that, and I want to move back to the Passport for a while. And I just signed up. I don't know, probably 10 minutes before this cast. I just signed up for Spotify Premium because I think that's what I want to do, and that's available on the Passport, and I think I'm just going to enjoy that for a while.
Good advertisement there, Dave. Well done. I haven't had a chance to actually look at the Priv yet. Maybe next week will be different. Who can say? But I've got a case on my Passport, and it's the first kind of case I've actually had on a device. And in terms of the bulk, I really don't think it adds anything. I'm quite happy with the size.
What is it?
It works. It's actually a non-standard, non-BlackBerry thing that I got from China that just happened to fit the Passport. And you know, it does the job. It comes with a belt clip, but that's it. And it adds a little bit of thickness to the unit, but it doesn't bother me.
How could it not be made for the Passport?
That's what I'd like to know. I mean, it actually fits the Passport, yet it's not made for the Passport. This is China we're talking about, so let's not try and generalize statements here. But you know, I don't see the thickness as any issue. For Pete's sake, we've had phones far thicker in our time, but you know, I don't know why it's an issue. I really don't. I'm happy.
No, I have a couple of shirts where this doesn't really want to go into my shirt pocket. But over the year that I've had it, that's ridiculously rare. It fits into your jacket pockets. It fits into your pants pockets. And the form factor and the buttons are what's calling me back. The keyboard is what's calling me back. And take a picture, because I'm not so sure anybody 2 years ago would have ever caught me saying this, because I was a slab dude, and I loved, and I still do love, the virtual keyboard on the Priv, the Z30. If I'd had a Leap or a Z3, same thing. The Z10, man, the virtual keyboard is just to die for. But this Passport keyboard is what's sucking me back, and I think the group is going to see me come back tonight on my Passport, because I just dearly love this thing. Done a month on the Priv, and I love it. I think it's a fantastic phone. Absolutely fabulous. But I want to come back to my Passport for a while.
Yeah, I can't leave the passport alone. I've got both active. I'm using both. I'm trying to use the Priv more and more. But the more I use the Priv, the better that passport feels. It just does.
Yeah,
I think
there's
we're
some
done.
stuff on the Priv that are there's stuff on the Priv that are superior.
Yep.
Don't kid yourself. And it's app related. It certainly isn't OS related. No way. It's only app related. Period. So yeah, are we done?
How's that, gentlemen?
I think we're
we
done.
might be.
I think we're good. We lost Bartron.
Bartron's certainly done.
Yeah. What's our timing?
He gave us a timer. He said this is it.
Was that an hour?
Stuck to it.
What's the timer? What timer are we at?
Actually, having a look at the clock, we must be sitting at an hour.
Yeah.
We should have somebody tweet it for us.
Just someone that, you know, we saw Ivan tweeting us tonight. Next week, Ivan, just tell us, you know, shut up, turn it off, and we'll know it's time.
Yeah, it's getting stale.
Nice.
You guys are going green.
All right, guys. Good night.
See you, dudes. See you next week.
Bless you guys. Take care.